Just ahead on CTV News, we sit down with the interim police chief, and it's Talk with the Doc Tuesday. Plus, training camp begins for the Washington Commanders. Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening, this is CTV News for July 22nd. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Katera Jones. Thanks for joining us. Well, earlier today, the Prince George's County Police Department held a luncheon for members of the media to get to know Interim Chief George Nader and Assistant Chief George Nichols.
CTV's Bryce Parker sat down with the Interim Chief and has more on his return to the department.
Being reacclimated, first and foremost, I absolutely relish coming back to this police department. The men and women here are top-notch. The work that our officers do is still phenomenal. The relationships that we have with the community is still phenomenal. Seeing the community members and some officers that when I left were officers and now they're running the organization, you know, it makes me proud to be a part of the organization.
Nader's first focus is officer hiring and retention, with the goal of hiring 60 to 80 new officers a year.
We're 330 officers short. We have 200 to 300 officers eligible to retire within the next year. So we need to concentrate on what can we do to keep those officers here longer, and then what can we do to bring more officers on.
Lateral movement and growth opportunities were just some of the selling points for joining the Prince George's Police Department, but its relationship with the community is what Nader believes sets his department apart.
The biggest thing I think that we have here is that we have always had strong relationships with our community, and the community embraces this organization like none I've ever seen.
We also talked about engaging the youth of Prince George's County and ways to keep juvenile crime down. This summer, neighboring jurisdictions and local municipalities have enacted curfews to curb teen meetups. And here in Prince George's County, countywide curfews as well as the National Harbor-specific curfew has been effective throughout the summer, to which the interim chief says that his department will continue to find ways to step in and support the youth, especially those who may not have strong parental guidance.
Where are we going to supply mentors or avenues? Because some kids, they've lost hope. They think that the lifestyle that they're in, which may be the wrong lifestyle, is what they belong in. That's the norm. But how do we provide them with an avenue that shows them a different way of life when this is all they have seen? So aside from parental involvement, you know, what are we doing as a society to uplift our youth, and especially those ones that need that avenue of hope?
Reporting in Upper Marlboro, I'm Bryce Parker, CTV News.
And Frederick is one of several Maryland counties where the sheriff's office has agreed to work with ICE agents in enforcement efforts. Several departments have opted to take part in the 287G program, which allows local authorities to cooperate with ICE. If the local jurisdictions determine that a person in their custody is in the U.S. illegally, then they turn them over to ICE. Other counties taking part in the program are Allegheny, Carroll, Garrett, St. Mary's, Washington, Cecil, and Harford counties. Prince George's does not take part in 287G.
A woman is facing murder charges after police say she shot and killed her husband inside their Bowie home early Saturday morning. Prince George's police say 50-year-old Nicole Lynette Ward is accused of killing 53-year-old Damon Ward during an argument. Officers found him with a gunshot wound around 1:45 a.m. He died at that scene. Nicole Ward is now charged with first and second-degree murder and is being held without bond. Anyone with information is asked to contact police or crime solvers.
New Carrollton and Prince George's police are investigating a hit and run from Thursday night that was fatal. That crash between a vehicle and cyclist happened on the 8400 block of Annapolis Road. Investigators say it appears the driver struck the cyclist while traveling eastbound. The victim is ID'd as 55-year-old Tara Carter. She was taken to the hospital where she later died. New Carrollton police used surveillance video and witnesses to locate that driver. And yesterday, President Trump stated he would stall actions for the new stadium at the RFK site if the Washington Commanders do not bring back the Redskins name. And Native American groups are pushing back against the president's efforts. Matthew Campbell, Deputy Director of the Native American Rights Fund, says it's time to put the issue to bed. Campbell believes it's wrong for the president to exercise executive power over the nation's capital for his own political ideologies.
And as relations between the district and the president become uncertain, County Executive Aisha Brayboy spoke today about the recent suggestions to change the name of the Washington Commanders and what the president's threats to the RFK Stadium deal mean for Prince George's County.
And so to hinge a deal on a name change back to the old name, I think is somewhat ridiculous, just to be honest with you. But I also, to me, shows the instability in Washington with our federal government that has so much impact on what happens in our nation's capital. That's why Prince George's continues to be ready and willing and able to keep the commanders here in Prince George's County. We do plan to work with the ownership team to redevelop the site so that we can have year-round uses and other types of amenities at the stadium site. But regardless of what happens, we will develop the site where the stadium is on because our residents here in Prince George's County deserve economic development.
Brayboy says the plans for the Northwest Stadium include potentially adding a roof to the stadium, ensuring the site continues to generate millions of dollars of revenue from events year-round. And the fight over reparations continues as Maryland's governor and some state lawmakers hit an impasse. A new report shows that staffers from the governor's office have met regularly with state lawmakers about the bill that would have created a commission to study reparations. Maryland lawmakers passed that bill. However, the governor vetoed it. New reports show that the Moore administration has its own reparations plan, which is said to be similar to the one that passed the Maryland General Assembly. Officials from the governor's office are saying that their draft of a reparations plan is different from what was vetoed by the governor. Supporters now vow to override the veto when the General Assembly meets again.
And with more than a year to go before Maryland's next elections, candidates are already stockpiling campaign cash. Over $6 million raised just this year, nearly $12 million banked. Leading the pack, Congressman Jamie Raskin, who raised more than $2.5 million, 4 times more than the next closest fundraiser, Congressman Andy Harris. Raskin also has nearly $6 million in cash on hand, making him one of the top fundraisers in the entire House. Most of his donations came from individuals, many in small amounts, and from 44 states. And President Trump's supporters continue to call for the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files, and Democrats are all too happy to help out. Epstein died in a New York City jail in 2019 while awaiting trial on charges of sex trafficking minors. Trump had long promised to release the files, only to backtrack and cast the files and included the client list as a Democrat hoax. Senator Chris Van Hollen is among Maryland Democrats calling for the release of the files. Meantime, before a vote was held in the House on whether to release the files, House Speaker Mike Johnson intervened and announced he's sending lawmakers home early for the summer recess. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Katara Jones. Still to come, changes are constantly happening in technology.
That's right. After the break, find out how a group of young students are learning IT behind the screen. Back in a moment.
You gotta believe without seeing. You gotta keep going, keep breathing. When you face a day it feels like you're gonna break. You gotta believe without seeing. You gotta keep going, keep breathing. When you face a day that feels like you're gonna break. So lean on the walls that love you. The guardian angels above you, and think about when peace
Welcome back. Some young people had an opportunity to learn what it takes to work for a county agency's IT department. The event was called Beyond the Screen, Discovering IT from the Inside. The goal of the event is to better equip young people with the knowledge of what information technology is, but also how county agencies utilize IT. The participants are all a part of the county's Summer Youth Enrichment Program and have an interest in the field.
So inside the program, we're learning about the ins and outs of IT. We've had different speakers from different departments within the information technology department come and speak to us and tell them a little bit about their day-to-day. I've learned that cybersecurity is a lot more than I thought it was. It's basically like an FBI agent, the speaker was saying, like they're like Secret Service. They really protect and keep the county safe.
We had basically like a game where we had to figure out, we had to do like a bit of detective work or investigative work and figure out who was a threat and who leaked some sensitive information. And all of that basically showed us what happens behind the scenes. Obviously, it's more greater on a larger scale, but it basically kind of simpled it down to where we could understand.
The event was put on by the county's Office of Information Technology.
And recent studies indicate that Maryland's historically black colleges and universities are leaving a large financial footprint on the state to the tune of billions of dollars. According to a new report from eConsult Solutions, the schools have generated billions of dollars for the state's economy. Here are some of the findings. eConsult says Morgan State, which tops the list, generated $1.5 billion for the state last year. The study also shows that Morgan State supports 8,200 jobs across the state. The University of Maryland Eastern Shore, $225 million, and Coppin State, $158 million.
A new report puts Maryland in the top 10 of best school systems nationwide. Maryland ranks 9th in a new report from Wallet Hub that ranks the best and worst school systems. The state ranked 1st for the existence of a digital learning plan and 6th for median ACT scores. However, the state ranked 21st in reading test scores, and Maryland hit the 26th spot for its dropout rate. Officials from Wallet Hub says how school systems apply its funding plays a key role in a good school system. And summer is in full swing, but retail experts say parents are planning to shop for school supplies a lot earlier this year. According to the National Retail Federation, 67% of shoppers have already started making their back-to-school purchases. The organization says what's driving the new numbers are families trying to avoid potential high prices due to tariffs. Officials say consumers deciding to shop early for school supplies like book bags, pencils, and notebooks is up from 55% last year.
And retail giant Target is kicking off its Back to School Days event on July 27th through August 2nd with up to 30% off items including backpacks, kids' clothes, shoes, and lunch gear. Stores will also feature giveaways and fun events, plus Target Circle members can get even more perks like extra discounts and gift cards with select purchases. So if you're gearing up for the school year, Target may be your target. And if you haven't heard, it's National Ice Cream Month, and whether you like it chocolate or chipped with sprinkles, there's one establishment known for its unique and quirky ice cream flavors.
That's right, Byron. CTV Sierra Jackson stopped by one local truck to get the scoop.
That's right, guys. I'm here with Ian from Ben & Jerry's, and he's about to tell us about some of the cool and unique flavors that Ben & Jerry's carries. Tell us some of the flavors you have here at the truck today.
Sure. So we have a non-dairy strawberry swirl. We have a berry sorbet. Both of them are vegan certified, and the non-dairy strawberry swirl is actually made with oat milk, so it's creamy, it's delicious. You cannot tell the difference. We also have a few of our classics like chocolate chip cookie dough, chocolate fudge brownie, cherry Garcia, and coffee buzz. So those are fan favorites.
I'm in the mood for it. I want mint and I want chocolate, so why not?
Yeah, they can be overstimulating just a little bit, but it is good to have options. If you are like one of those people that like to try it, it's good to have options.
Yeah.
And Ben & Jerry's is known for being socially conscious, so tell me how the company makes that happen.
Being socially conscious, we try to get out into the community. Ben & Jerry's, we're always looking for social justice opportunities. We want to make sure that everyone's treated fairly and everyone deserves to be treated the way humans should be treated, you know? Yeah.
Exactly. Everyone likes ice cream that feels good and tastes good. And I think I'm going to go with the sweet cream and cookies flavor. So make sure you guys are celebrating Ice Cream Month. Thank you. Back to you guys at the studio.
Well, thank you, Sierra. We have now an update. Apparently, the ice cream truck blew a tire driving down, where else? Rocky Road. We'll keep you updated as that story develops.
And you know what, Byron? I got out of the ice cream business because you know what? I just don't like working on Sundays.
It's always Monday.
Oh, it's Monday. Well, still to come on CTV News.
Dr. Hack is back on the CTV talking about how to prepare for our family. Back in a bit. Stay tuned.
We are women first, but women with disabilities last.
During a military exercise, we crashed and I broke my neck.
When I was in the Air Force, an accident changed my life. I couldn't have imagined the injustices I would face.
Every day, women like me go to the doctor for annual checkups for conditions like breast cancer. Early detection saved my life. But women with disabilities face a cruel reality: inaccessible medical facilities and equipment.
In the 25 years since my injury, I have not seen a gynecologist. There's not one accessible OBGYN in my community.
I found lumps in my breast. I went to a doctor's office I was told was accessible, but when I got there, I couldn't get through the front door.
I don't know where I'd be today without access to testing. Our veterans deserve better. Help PVA fight for access at pva.org.
If words were enough, I would help you bear your burden. I would watch each child of yours grow strong and true. Teach them to read and to write and to sing, so that their voices be forgotten nevermore. If words were enough, I would sate your hunger, and you would know you are my sister, my brother, my child. If words were enough.
It's so hard to predict a sick kid who just keep getting sicker, but we needed to be together as a family. My family is my entire life. My family means the world to me.
When we're together and we have support from Ronald McDonald House, we can be a little stronger. They provide food and a place to rest your head, and they will help you through every step. That's what gets you through every day when you don't know how else you're gonna make it.
It makes you feel like you're not alone.
Welcome back. For many women, the journey to motherhood begins long before a positive pregnancy test. From understanding your menstrual cycle to optimizing your nutritional and mental health, a lot goes into conceiving and delivering a healthy baby.
And to talk about the beginning of that journey to motherhood is Dr. Hack. Dr. Hack, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So we're talking about preconception health. What should a woman who's planning on getting pregnant, what should she do? What should she know?
Oh, there are so many things. But first off, the goal is to be as healthy as you possibly can be prior to getting pregnant. And that means knowing your medical conditions and optimizing your health.
And what does that look like, optimizing your health?
Sure. So usually that's going to begin with a conversation with your healthcare provider. And in that conversation, you're going to review your medical history, which includes any medications you're taking, any conditions you had, any previous pregnancies that you've had, and the outcomes of those pregnancies. Also your family history and understanding, is there maybe a condition in my family that could potentially affect me and my pregnancy? So it's going to begin by reviewing all of that information and then having a conversation with someone who can kind of help you pick out the important things to focus on.
Should the father be part of that conversation as well?
Yes, because some of these genetic conditions are going to be from the father, not just the mother. And it depends. You can be a carrier, but some things are going to be dominant and provided by one or the other.
And could you talk about maybe some misconceptions that are out there that are said women need to be doing, but in reality they don't need to be doing?
I think it's more like there are things that people need to be doing that they don't necessarily realize they should be doing. For example, you want to start a prenatal vitamin. That is very important. We want to make sure that you have the appropriate nutrition. Although most people do, because we generally have most of these things in our diet, but there are things like folic acid that women should be consuming at least 3 months prior to pregnancy.
That's really interesting because women are told to take prenatal vitamins during their pregnancy, right?
Yes.
But you're saying even before.
Even before, it's ideal to start before.
Wow.
So how soon should one get prepared, get ready?
Sure. So you want to ideally have that conversation, if you can, a year before getting pregnant. But up to 50% of pregnancies are unplanned. So that's not realistic. But if you know, hey, I think I might want to get pregnant, or I'd be open to getting pregnant within the next year, ideally having the conversation and kind of figuring those things out at that time is ideal.
Other than the obvious, what role should men play in this?
Yes, so they want to make sure that they are aware of everything that's happening because they are contributing, right, to this child. But they also need to be healthy. There's some concern about substances that can affect their ability to impregnate someone. So they want to limit their substance use, optimize their health as well. Those things are just as important as the woman.
And what do you say to women who are a bit overwhelmed with everything she has to do to prepare her body for pregnancy?
Yeah, I'd say just thinking about how can I eat healthy and have great activity levels. I think that's like a very good first start. If you start there, and then you also want to get an idea of how long you've been trying to get pregnant or how long you've been trying to get pregnant. So that way, if for some reason it's taking longer than expected, you know when you need to start having additional conversations with your healthcare provider.
How about nutritional do's and don'ts?
Sure. So ideally, you would like to decrease your alcohol intake. Of course, that would happen when you get pregnant. But if you're, for example, overusing alcohol or using some other substances, those are things that you want to cut back on and stop using altogether, ideally. I'm not alcohol specifically, that we want to decrease your usage. You don't have to stop drinking if you want to get pregnant, but you should know how often you're using things and ideally cut back because you want to be your healthiest.
But once one is pregnant, no alcohol.
No alcohol once you are pregnant. But when you're trying to get pregnant, we don't say you can't drink. But if you're drinking a lot, you definitely want to decrease that because that can affect your ability to get pregnant.
And women who want to work out, I know I'm assuming by case basis.
Yes.
Can you talk about that?
Sure. So most of the exercise recommendations are that you can continue to maintain the same activity level that you had prior to pregnancy, during pregnancy. Now, there are some things that you are not recommended to do, like kickboxing or scuba diving or skydiving or horseback riding, things like that. But in general, I was lifting weights and squatting like 200 pounds at 36 weeks. If you are able to continue that from before pregnancy, that's generally fine. But again, it's case by case and it's in consultation with your healthcare provider.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Hack.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And for more information on women's health and Dr. Hack's podcast, visit ladypartsdoctor.com. And still to come on CTV News.
Simon Buggs is here with our Tuesday sports page. Simon?
Hey guys, and coming right up, the Washington Commanders welcome all their players back for training camp today. Hear what head coach Dan Quinn had to say after the break. Don't move.
You've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. You have to carefully monitor your health for the rest of your life, and you have an increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease.
Cut. Type 2, take 2.
Action.
You've been diagnosed with a new purpose, to fight for the amazing life you made for yourself, to look that risk of heart disease square in the face and say, no, not me. You've been given a new opportunity to live. Get started at NoDiabetesByHeart.org.
Danny. See me after class. Okay, so, Jennifer? Yes? Okay, let me know when
Danny, I just got this notice from your school. We need to talk.
This is important. We need to talk.
Danny, wake up!
overdosing.
When no one else knows what to do, it's gotta be you. Carrying the lock zone, you could save a life.
Okay, everybody, your Tuesday sports page is here. We begin with some news out of College Park as Team Shell Shock, the Terps alumni basketball team, will be taking on NXT Era Elite in the Sweet 16 round of the basketball tournament, or TBT, tonight. Now, Shell Shock is no stranger to the tournament as the team competed back in 2023. One player from the team that is returning from that 2023 squad is guard Daryl Morcell. And the former Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year touched on what he took from that 2023 run and how it can help him in 2025.
Just a little bit of experience that we gained from that, just the physicality, just playing with the Elam ending, that's not something that's really normal. Just experience, knowledge, those type things. At the end of the day, it's basketball, so we just got to come out and play our game and do what we got to do.
Tip-off is at 7 o'clock. Good luck tonight, fellas. Meantime, it was announced that the Terps football team traveled to Las Vegas for this year's Big Ten Football Media Day from today until July 24th. 6 teams will participate each day, with Maryland going today, along with Illinois, Indiana, Rutgers, Ohio State, and Nebraska. Joining head coach Mike Loxley will be defensive back Jalen Husky, linebacker Daniel Wingate, and offensive lineman Isaiah Wright. And in NFL news, my Washington Commanders kicked off the first day of rookie and veteran training camp earlier today. Now, there's a lot to be excited about during training camp, and for head coach Dan Quinn, it's the level of competition.
You can imagine a DB trying to match wits with Jaden, or being a running back in the open field against Bobby Wagner and that kind of tackle, like the guy's absolute tackling G. You know, can you beat him? Or a defensive end going against Laramie Tunsil, or a guard against Payne. All these little matchups helps you bring out your best going against their best. And each summer, everybody asks me, hey, what's your favorite part of training camp? And I point to that, I say, it's always the competition.
Man, with training camp beginning, Commanders fans were now one step closer to the start of this season, and I can't wait. And in tennis news, 7-time Grand Slam champion Venus Williams will be taking the court tonight against Peyton Stearns in a singles match in the Mubadala City DC Open. The California native is coming off of a doubles victory with DC favorite Haley Baptiste. This is the Tennis Stars' first tournament in over a year. And wrapping up sports with news from the majors, the Baltimore Orioles fell to the Cleveland Guardians last night, 10-5. Game 2 of the series will take place tonight at 6:40. And finally, the Washington Nationals came out on top in their game against the Cincinnati Reds yesterday, 10-8. The two teams will take the diamond again tonight as well at 6:45. And that wraps up your Tuesday sports page. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you, Simon. Let's get a quick look now at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be mostly clear. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 86 degrees. Thursday, sunny with a high of 90 and low of 73. Friday's going to be even hotter when we reach a high of 96 degrees.
And for our community calendar, if you're looking for a vibrant celebration of Yoruba culture and artistry, check out the Yoruba Festival this Friday. Experience an unforgettable evening featuring incredible Yoruba poets, singers, and dancers as they bring the rich traditions of the Yoruba people to life. Doors open at 6 p.m. For tickets and more information, visit bowieCenter.org.
And that's our news for tonight. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.